Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and give it a few more minutes to let everyone else join in, and then we'll go ahead and get started with today's class. If you have any questions, make sure to type them in the chat box, and I can go over those questions during the presentation, okay? So again, I'm going to give it a few more minutes. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Um, okay, so what this call is, I'm just going to give you guys a walkthrough of call text, our program, and anytime during the presentation of the program, you can go ahead and ask me. Again, this call is for soon-to-be users or active users. So if you just need any help or any live demonstrations of anything, you can always ask me. If you have a question on whether or not you can implement certain things for your business using call text, you can ask me those questions as well. So for example, if you want to know if you can do a certain task that you do on a normal day-to-day in your business, you can ask me and then I can kind of walk you through it and show you how you can set that up inside of call text or call text itself, okay? But anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. It seems like some of you already asked some questions. Okay. Okay, cool. So we already have a few questions. I'll go through those right now shortly. First, I'm going to share my screen, show you guys the inside of it, and then I'm going to answer the questions that we have right now, okay? Good morning, everyone. To everyone that's saying hi back, okay? Here we go. And then if you guys don't mind, can you go ahead and send me a message saying you can see my screen so that I know everything's working fine? Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, so the first, here, let me take those questions. So the first question was, oops, can you send or can you discuss how to set up a text autoresponder for any new numbers that text? Yes. Okay. So first, let me just give you a quick run through. I already recorded a complete walkthrough of the program, so I'm just going to briefly go through all of these again. And then at the end, if anyone wants to get the link to the video, we're going to put that up, and then I'm going to send that out to everyone. It's going to be a link to my last week's video, and then that same link will also have this recording on there. So if you asked any questions and you want to go back to see how I answered them and how I set it up, you can go back and view those on that same link. Okay, so we're going to have one page on the website with all the different recordings of these calls. Okay, so so first off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. Here we go. So this is the dashboard. I'm going to walk through these tabs really quickly. What the dashboard is, it's just a breakdown of all the communications you're doing inside of the program. Okay, so right here is a little quick summary of all the minutes and messages, emails, and form submissions that you have inside of your account. You can see all the different calls that you've done, all the text messages, picture messages, voice blast, emails, contacts added, and form submissions. Okay, and then right here, what these are is totals for your month to date. Okay, so within this month, this test account has done 100 text messages and all these different numbers right here. Okay, so that's the dashboard. The agent section is obviously for if you want to have any users underneath your main account, you can set up sub accounts and they're called agents. And so you go here to do that. The communication tab is just a breakdown of every single communication you've done inside of your account. So you can see right here, it shows me my calls, my emails, and you can organize them and view them based on certain types of communication. So text messages, MMS, email, calls, things like that. Okay. And then the next one is contacts. So this is where you're going to go to view all the different contacts inside of your CRM database. They are organized by the last communication. So whoever you spoke to most recently will show up on the top, but you can always organize them by names and numbers and stuff like that. Okay. Compose message section is where you would go to just send out broadcast messages, so messages you want to send out right away. This isn't for the automated messages. This is just for sending them out right away or setting up a quick message that you want to send out later or send a recurring message, okay? But you can do things like send an email, send a text message, an MMS message, which is just picture messages, and a voice blast, okay? Calendar right here, you go here to view all your different tasks. So you can set up meetings and different events for yourself, and you go here to view those. You can do that on a monthly view, weekly view, daily view, and upcoming. Obviously, I don't have any events in here, so it's saying no events to display, but that's the calendar. Campaigns, for those of you that are asking about automation, I'm going to be going into this here shortly. This is how we're going to set up those automation tasks that you guys are asking about. So I'll go into detail right now to answer the questions that we had about those. Virtual numbers, and these are the numbers that you can buy to have inside your account so people can text in and call into or call and communicate with you. And you can also use them to call out and send out messages. So that's what these are. You can do both local numbers and vanity numbers. Tags. This is basically what the whole system runs off of. This is what's going to start the automation processes. This is how you're going to be able to organize all your different contacts and segment them so that you can kind of get analytical data as far as everything that happens inside of CRM. Templates is where you would go to build out different messages and emails and voice blasts and things like that. So you can add, template text messages. So if you were to go to the compose message section, you can, instead of writing out a certain message, you can just use a template that you created. People use those to send out a message that they send that they normally send out to all different types of contacts. So again, you don't have to keep typing out every new message. You can just create a template. Keywords are this is mainly for marketing. This is when you see the different businesses saying text in the word offer to this number and then get a free coupon and stuff like that. That's what keywords are for. File library is just where you can go and host all your different files that you want to upload into the CRM program. Okay. Reports is just so you can get basic rundown reports of everything that's happening inside of the program. Chat is a message or a IM program built inside of Calltext, so you can message with other Calltext users or message back and forth with your agents. Okay, so like for example, if you had an assistant that was an agent inside of your account, you can message back and forth with them, and you can communicate that way. So all the communication is just here in one spot. Now, form builder, this is where you can go and build out forms to put onto your website and collect leads so that they can go inside of CRM. I know someone asked a question about can you integrate forms that you've already built to come inside of the program, and the answer is no. You'd have to create a new form inside of call text and put that form into uh, your website. So no, it doesn't integrate with already built out forms. Just to answer that question really quickly. And then the last one is short code lookup. Basically, this is just it's not, we don't have it live yet, but it's just another form of keywords. That's just so that you can claim a certain keyword, because we're going to have what's called a short code, and that's when you see people saying text in the word offer to 515151. That's what's called a short code. Those are limited because we only have our short code for call text is 818181. So you can go in and actually claim a specific word. So if you were to go in and claim the word offer, no one else in the program or no one else using call text would be able to use that. Okay, but that's only for if you're going to be using the short code. You can have as many keywords as you want for your own specific numbers, and no one else can take them. Okay. But anyway, so that's the basic run through. Again, I'm going to be sending a link after the video. So you guys can go watch last week's recording, which is a full overview of the entire program. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start answering those questions. I already asked or answered the form question, and now what I'm going to be doing is showing you how to set up a automated message to go out if someone were to text you in. So for example, if we were to take, there's two different ways to do it. If we were to do it with using keywords, what we can do is if you wanted to set it up to where if someone sends a specific message to you, for example, if we wanted to set up a message that said, if someone were to text into my phone number and they said money, right away what I can do is send them a message back saying, hey, first name, last name, as promised, here's your free gift, or whatever you wanted to say. And we can do it that way. Now this one, I know the question was I want to be able to send out a picture message. You wouldn't be able to do that with keywords, but this is just a basic way of doing it. Now, if you wanted to send out a picture message, or actually, yeah, you would have to set it up right here. So if they sent in money, you'd have to do it right here and then click from the library. But if you wanted to send out a list of different messages, so if you wanted to send out more than just one, including doing calls like voice blasts and things like that, that's where we would go into campaigns. So keywords is one way if you tell them to send in a specific keyword, or the other way you can do it is anytime someone texts in to your number, you can have it respond to them with a pre-built message. And the way we can do that is, here, let me open up. Actually, we won't have to. So again, like I said, tags basically runs the entire program. What we can do is we can name the tag. So for example, you said you wanted to send them a business card, so we can create that tag. Oops, sorry, I messed up. So yeah, there it is. So we can create the tag business card, okay, and then when we come over here, we can tell it. So anytime this tag is applied to a contact, let's go ahead and send them some certain items. So we'll name this one send business card. And then we can give ownership to contacts. If I wanted to right away assign my assistant to be the owner of this new contact, I can do that, or I can assign it to myself. But what I'll do is I just won't apply it to anything. I'll say send business card to new contact. And then I want all the messages to come from my event or my 805 number. Do I want to allow repeat? I'm going to say no. So they can't, if they keep messaging, they won't just keep receiving those messages. And then what I will do is I'll hit submit. Okay. So I have the basic starting points for this. So now what we'll do is we'll come over to templates, and then I'm going to add a new template, and I'm going to name, it's going to be an MMS template, and I'll name this business card message number 1. Okay, set it to go from that number. And then what we'll do is we'll say, hello, here's my business card. And then I'm going to add the attachment. I don't know, let's do it from the library. And I'll just send them this photo, submit. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll come back to campaigns. And then I'm going to go edit the send business card. And I'll edit the campaign. And then when I come down here, I can say I want to send out that MMS business card message number 1. I'm going to send it 1 minute after that tag is applied. So I hit submit. And so now what I just did is I just set up this campaign to send them out that message anytime that tag gets applied. So the last thing we can do is go over to my virtual number settings. And I can tell, so this number right here, what I can do is I can tell this number anytime someone messages into this specific phone number, I can tell it to apply that tag business card. Okay, now I hit update. Okay, so what I just did is I just set it up so now anytime someone for the very first time sends me any message at all to my 805 number, the system's going to go ahead and create that contact for us. It's going to go ahead and tag them with that business card tag. So now I know that contact is a business card contact, so I can always go and view those different, or that list of contacts of everyone that's, sent in that, or sent in a message to my virtual number and got applied with that tag. And then after it applies that tag, I told the system to go ahead and send them a message with my business card. It was an image, but for as an example, but we can always put in whatever we want. Okay, so that's how we would set up that automated message to go out. Okay. Then the next question is, John, you asked if you can do straight to voicemail. I'm not sure if you mean when they call in and go straight to voicemail or when you call it goes straight to voicemail. But technically both is yes. The answer to both of those is yes. You can set your virtual number to, if someone were to call your number, it would go straight to voicemail so they can leave you a voicemail. Or you can do what's called a voice blast. And what that does is you can set it up so that when you call out, you can have a message play to them without you having to say anything. Okay, so and the way you would do that is you would create either a template, or you would go and create a template voice blast message. So whether it's you recording it yourself or uploading a message that someone else recorded for you, and then you would come and then you would say, if the answering machine picks up, play this message. So you can record it yourself or upload it from your computer. Okay, so you're saying bypassing it. As of right now, no, but I know that they are setting it up so that you can tell the system to only ring a certain amount of times and then go to voicemail. Um, so we can do it that way. But again, right now, what it does is it calls them, and depending on what happens, it'll play different messages. But we will, the program soon will be able to do what you're asking for. Okay. All right, so if any of you have any other questions as far as what we can do inside of Calltext, go ahead and ask them. Not sure if you answered. Does the Alex VA system pull all the info in here on the spot? Okay, so Matt, you're asking about I believe the call center. That is not a direct integration with call text. So once someone rings to your call center number, it won't automatically put them into your account. But the way that it's set up is if you have call text and you have your numbers forwarding to your call center or to the call center, what happens is call text can actually create a contact for you automatically for anyone that calls in. Okay. So as soon as they call in, it'll pull their information from wherever they have their phone numbers located. So if they're a Verizon customer and they call in, the system can tell they're a Verizon customer and it'll pull whatever first name and last name Verizon has on file for them, and it'll create a contact for you. Okay. So as soon as they call in, it'll create it for you. But then whatever happens outside of that, as far as what that call center is uh, asking them, it won't pull that information in. You'll still get an email. So you would just have to have either your assistant or yourself go in and update that information for that contact. But the call text, what it does is it does create the contact for you. So you don't have to go in and create a new contact every time. It'll be there. You just have to update that information. Yes. So remember, if any of you have any other questions, go ahead and ask. Yeah. So anytime someone calls in, they get saved as a new contact. So if they keep calling in, it's not going to keep creating. Are the calls recorded? Yes, if you set it up. So if I were to go back to virtual numbers, uh, virtual numbers themselves have a lot of different settings. But if I was going to go in here, at the very bottom, I can tell it to record inbound calls and outbound calls. Okay. And then I can also say play a recording notification on both. And what that is just if you've ever called the business and it says before you even talk to anyone, it says this call can be recorded for quality assurance. That's what that's talking about. Okay. And you have the option to set that message yourself, so you can record your own. This message is being recorded message or file, so you can just record that yourself and just upload it into the system. But yes, all calls can be recorded if you set up or if you tell it to record them. Okay. Another thing I want to mention, for those of you that are on here that are doing the investing, or just anyone that's doing small business and you like to keep track of the different mail pieces that you send out, to kind of just see what kind of return you're getting on those pieces. What you can do inside of call text. So going back to where I said automatically tag contacts, what I can do is here, if I come over here, I can add a tag, for example, that's named, let's name it yellow letters piece 1, and then I can save it. And then when I come back to my virtual numbers, I can tell it to automatically tag whoever calls in with this tag right here. And so now anytime, so if I wanted to go back and check to see what kind of return I got on those mail pieces, what I could do is, okay, I sent out this many pieces. Let me go to let me go to my tag section and see how many contacts I have for that tag, right? So if I sent out 100 pieces and I had, let's just say, so this is the total contacts. I had 10 contacts. Obviously, I got a 10% return rate on those pieces, right? So a call-in rate would be 10%, and so that allows you to kind of track your marketing efforts. For those of you that do any direct mail marketing, because it is always difficult to kind of track those things, but this makes it really really easy to do that. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and just leave it open for a few more minutes to let anyone else ask any questions. Again, if you have questions, just ask. If you want me to show you how to do specific setup, you can just ask me to do it, and I can do it live here for you. So you guys are asking, is it possible to set up an autoresponder sequence with email every 3, 9, 14 days? Here, let me go back. The answer is yes. Again, it's super easy. So what we can do is, again, when you go to campaigns and they start a specific campaign with a certain tag, and how that tag gets applied, that's on you. There's lots of different ways you can apply them, whether it be them filling out a form, calling in, messaging in. You can manually tag them yourself, things like that. But what you can do is, so let's just go back to this send business card one, for example. What I can do is edit this campaign, and you said you wanted to send out emails. So what we can do is we can come over here, and anytime I create an item, it'll auto-populate this section right here for me to go ahead and start adding more items. So I have email 1, and then you said you wanted to do it 3 days after, so we can set 3 days, and then we can do another email to do, if you said 9 days, we would just add, we would subtract, so it's 9 days from the last message, so we would do 6 days, right? So this is going to be 9 after the initial tag was applied. So this is 3 after that. This is 6. Oh, I'm sorry. This is 6 after the last item. Okay, so if this was 3 days after they started and we wanted to send out 9 days after they started, we would put 6 right here. Okay, and just keep building off of that. So after 6 days, we'll just do 3 more, and then that's how we build that out. Okay, and then I'd want to send them a different email, and then I hit submit. So now my campaign, what it's doing is it sends them a message first, and then it'll send them 3 more emails. Okay, and then you can get as creative as you want. So you can see right here, I put minutes. You can do minute, hour, days, and shoot, what was the other one? So you can do minutes, hours, days, weeks, and months. Okay, guys. So a really cool one for those of you guys that are investors, you can do things like if they have their house listed, you can tell it to send them a message every month saying, hey, is your house still listed? If not, I'd like to talk to you again, things like that. So we can automatically send out those messages for you. Okay. So I also have Alex system set up, and so the calls are answered by the system. And how does that translate into this system? Okay, so if you have if you have you're talking about the call center, if you guys have that, anytime, what's going to happen is the way that they have it set up is you have to forward all your calls to them. So any person that's calling your number, they're going to be added into your call text account as new contacts, and then it's going to forward those calls over to your your call center number, and then they're going to pick up for you. But because it flowed through your own call text number, the system is creating those contacts for you. Okay. But then you have to make sure that you are putting your number on your marketing pieces, your call text number on your marketing pieces, and then just go in to, let's see here, virtual numbers. So once you have your call text account set up, you want to make sure that you have the settings set to forward to a different number. So right here, you can see where it says forward to number, and then I can tell it to forward to whatever number I want. So you would put your call center number in, and then because it's flowing through your virtual number here in call text, that contact will get created and it'll still ring over to the call center for them to pick up for you. Okay. Is there an iPhone app? No, there isn't an app yet, but they are planning on creating one. But again, this type of program, it's going to be best used on the computer anyways, since you're going to be doing it from the business. Now, I will say that they are, since the app isn't ready yet, what they're doing is they're doing the best that they can to make sure that everything that you can do here on the desktop, you can also do on the phone. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to navigate your way through since it's a smaller screen, but everything that you can do on the desktop, you can do on your phone's browser, okay? But an app is in the works so that you can do everything from your phone, and it's a dedicated app rather than having to go onto your phone's browser, okay? Does it have an auto start and stop sequence? Yes, so you can automatically start it. Again, it all revolves around tags. So whether that be if they fill out a form, you can tell that form to tag them automatically, whether they call in. But when it comes to email, most likely it's going to be forms. So those forms can start campaigns, and then you can come into the campaign itself and you can tell it to send out the sequence of emails to that contact. And then what you can do is uh, the way to stop it is that tag that started it. Once it's removed, it will kill the campaign. So you can stop it midway through the campaign if you remove it, whether that's manually or another way of doing it is if you're moving your contacts through a sequence, you can have another tag. So if they get tagged, so for example, if there are new leads by email, but then they call in, you can say, okay, now it's a different type of contact. So that new call in can activate a different tag that also removes the email one, if that makes sense. And then that's how you can stop it. So there's ways of starting it and stopping it all automatically without you having to manually do anything. Second, sending out messages and putting the person's name and other info is up to me. All that I set it myself. Sending out messages. Okay, so does the system manually capture the phone numbers? Yeah, so so I'll answer that one first. Whenever someone calls in, it'll capture that number and create a contact based around that number because you won't have obviously their first name or last name, but the system does perform what's called a lookup. So if they have their information shared with whatever provider they have, so for, like let's say for example they have Verizon and they've told Verizon, hey, this is my first name and last name. I want to set it up for um, what is it, caller ID purposes. And if they have that information shared with their provider, then call text can actually pull that information. Okay, so if I were to call in to one of your guys' call text accounts, it'll save me as a new contact and it'll actually have my name, Gabriel Contreras, as the contact. So it'll do that for you. And then you're saying sending out messages, inputting the person's name and other info is up to me. All that I set myself. You do set it up yourself, but you can set it up so that it does it for everyone. So you can set it up for anyone that calls in. It'll automatically send them out that message. Now you will have to create that message, obviously first, and then you can tell it to send that same message to everyone. But yeah, there is some setup involved as far as the initiating end of it. Okay. Inputting the person's name, you can tell it. Let me go back to compose message. You can tell it to. So for example, let's go to SMS. So if I wanted to say hello, I can tell it to input the name for me. So if I wanted to put their first name, um, then right here you see how it says hello, and then these weird um, values right here, and then it says first name. What this is telling the system is when you send out this message, pull the first name field. So whatever you have in their first name field, it'll send out for you. So that if you have it set up that way, then obviously you can create any automated messages you want, and the system will put their first name in it, so it'll make it seem more personal to them when they receive those messages. Yeah, that goes with all the other information. So you can tell it to put their first name, last name, their phone number, all the whatever default fields we have, or whatever custom fields that you end up building into the program yourself. You can tell it to put in there. So for example, if you're doing real estate, you can put in their property address, and then I don't have that on here, but let's just say for the sake of this example, uh, we can put hello something. Is this is this the right address for the house you are wanting to sell? And then put that, and then let's just say, for example, this was property. Instead of deal type, we can put, let's just pretend that it was address. So then what it would do is it would pull from that field and put in their property address. So I can do things like that. Hopefully that answers your question, Marina. Yeah, as long as you have, so Apple Mac, if you have a browser, it all runs off of a browser. It's not a downloaded program. It just runs off a browser. So you just go onto Safari or Chrome and just use it from there. Just log into your account. You're able to text videos as well. It supports messages, but if you have the video like hosted somewhere, so like on YouTube, for example, you could send them the link. But as far as sending out videos and messages, no. The best way to share a video would be to host it and then send them out the link. Can you set up a cost field in a contact? Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll just show you guys how to create a custom field. So what we'll do is we'll go to a contact, and let me just here, goodbye, hello. It's a fake contact I created. What you do is you go into the contact, and normally when you come in, you're only going to have up to social, or sorry, you'll have all of these except for real estate and property. I did those myself. So what I'll do is, let me see, edit this tab. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that property tab, and I'm going to recreate it for you guys. So if I wanted to come in here and I wanted to name the tab property info, and then I can do repair costs. Let me see. Actually, let me put this one, address information, and then I can do a new group and call this one repair costs. And then I want to name this one property address. And then I'm going to do city. I'll just leave it at those two for now. And then add a new field, and I'm going to put roof repair cost right there, and then add a new field, and I'll name it, let's say, I don't know, carpet cost. Okay. And then I'll put that there, and I'm going to hit save. Oh, forgot to grab that one. Save. So now I have my property info tab, and then I have the address information and the repair costs. So going back to that example when I said I can send out that property address information inside of a message, if I were to come back, just so you guys don't have to imagine it, if I come back to compose a message and I hit SMS, I can come over here to message text. Is this your address? And then put in property address, right? And then send it out. So that's how you create new custom fields. And again, you can be as creative as you want. It's broken down into 3 different types. It's the tabs, which is up here. Then you go into groups, so you can group your different fields, and then the custom fields themselves. Okay. Okay. Okay, so if you have any more questions, just go ahead and ask them. Hopefully you guys are getting excited about all the things you can do inside of call text. Again, it's extremely powerful, and I do have this call every week. So if you need me to walk you through it, you could always just join in, and I can help you with that. Um, this does work really well with the call center if you're using that. Again, because it'll create all the contacts for you. Because I know a lot of times most of the students that don't have call text, they have to go in and manually create the contacts themselves just by the emails that they get. So this will do that for you. Will it auto add the cost? No, that the costs are going to have to be manually put in yourself. So it'll automatically create the contact, but once the call center sends over that information to you, if you're using that, then you would have to go in and put that in yourself. Do I know if it integrates with the Investicare website? Matt, what you can do is you can build out your form, and inside of the forms, there's not a specific integration. Like I know there's a few that you can just say API integrate with a certain CRM. There isn't a specific one, but the way you do it, I believe, I don't know what other ones they support, but the way you can do it is you can go into your form. So these are all the forms I have. And what I can do is once I create it, once I build it, I can go and grab what's called the HTML code. And I know Investicare, what it can do is once you paste in your HTML code for any form you have, it'll automatically style it according to their forms. Okay, so it'll grab that code and style it for you. So all you have to do is take this code and then paste it in there. And I don't have a Investicare website myself, but I know what you can do is just message them and they'll walk you through because I've been in the back end of it before, and there's a specific section to say create new form, and then it says use HTML code. And if you don't know how to do that, I'm sure you can Google it or ask them. But yes, you can take the forms that you build in call text and put them on your Investicare website so that they can feed straight into your CRM program or the call text. You guys, if you're curious as far as what the program can do, it's very powerful and it can do a lot of different things. So, if it's a thought that you have, like something that you might be able to do with your business, but you don't know how to implement it, you can ask me and then I'll show you uh, how a call text can actually do what you're wanting to do and actually bring it to reality. Okay. As soon as you sign up with the program, you get 5 different virtual numbers. So as soon as you sign up, actually the first thing you do when you sign up is it's gonna take you through and have you get a virtual number. So it'll allow you to pick whatever number you want, whatever local number you want. And then as soon as you pick your number, you'll be taken to the dashboard. And the first thing you can do is go right into the virtual number settings and tell it to forward to a specific number and then put the number you want it to forward to and then hit save and then you'll be good to go. Okay. And then again, so as soon as you do forward, as soon as you save that settings for the first number, you just go right in and get however many other numbers you want. Again, the monthly pricing comes with 5. So that package comes with 5, and then any additional number I believe is, let's go and check it out. I believe it's $5. about $3. So for any additional local number, it's going to be an additional $3 a month. So if you go past your 5-number limit, all you have to do is get one more, and it's just going to charge you $3 on top of your monthly payment to have a 6th number. Okay, but as soon as you get those numbers, you can go right into the settings and have it forward to your call center. So if you have like 5 different mail pieces or 4 different mail pieces, you can go and buy those 4 numbers and forward all of them to the call center. And again, create tags so that you can automatically tag them according to whichever mail piece that number is aligned with. And then you can have one number that you have to call out and message back and forth. Limit on emails is 25. That's a month. Yeah. So every month it'll reset back to 25. So if you get to 24,000 emails, the next month it'll start over and you'll be at 25 again. Yeah. So when you get a number, that number becomes yours. So if you wanted to move, you can always port it. The same thing goes for if you currently have Ring Central. Whenever you get a number, the number belongs to you, so no one can keep it hostage from you. The same thing, like if you're, for example, your personal cell phone number, if you wanted to go to switch from AT&T to Verizon, AT&T couldn't keep your number. They'd have to allow you to switch it over to Verizon. Same thing goes with that. So we can't keep yours, and any other phone provider that you have right now can't keep you from moving it over to us. All right. So are there any more questions, you guys? Again, at the end, if you want to go back and just rewatch whatever I did, I'm going to be sending out that link so you can watch the replay of these videos. And then if you ever run into any issues along the way, like not that you need answered right away, or you don't want to wait till Wednesday, you can always just email us at support@calltext.com. Another thing you can do is right here, there's this little, let me close this. Right here, there's this little help button, and that's our ticketing program. So you can just hit help, put your information in there, and then hit send, and then we can obviously answer those questions in ticket form. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just give it a few more minutes, just let anyone ask any questions that they haven't asked already. And then in a few minutes, if no one asks the questions, we'll go ahead and end the call, okay? This is Marina asking if I get a new email from CallText that says new call forwarded. Call forwarded. So what that's saying is, I believe, I'd have to see the email, but I'm assuming it's for just notifying you that you had a new call and it was forwarded to the call center. If you went and set your settings up so that it records all your calls, yeah, so you can go into the system and play that recording. So what you would do is you would just go to oh, here, let me show you. So here we go. You would go to your communication page, okay? And then let me see if I have any calls. right here. So I decided to go ahead and here's a call. Set this one to record. So right here you see how it says play recording. I could also click in and download that recording, play it or download it. So again, you just go to your communication section, find that call by searching for it, and then just play it back from there. So all of your again, every communication you have is going to be right here inside of the communication tab. Okay, and again, you can break it down by um, different types of communication. So it could be, you can show just your text messages, your picture messages, your emails. Here's all the calls. So you can see right here, I recorded all of these calls, and I can always go back and just play them. The person's phone number here. Okay, let's see here. So what happens is, let me go to contact. They get saved in contacts. Yeah, is that in the contact? Yeah, they'd get saved in the contact section. If I were to go here, you can see all these that are blank that say new. That's because they call in, but they haven't shared their information with the their service provider. So right here, you can see all of these calls, all these numbers right here are just people that called in that didn't have their names in there. But the system, no matter what, even though it didn't have their name, it still created it for us. And so I can go in and then I can name this person. So once like if they were to have left me a voicemail, yeah. So if they were to left me a voicemail saying, hey, and then they say their name, hey, it's John calling, I can go in, click on that contact, and then I can put their name is John, right? John Smith. And then hit submit. So now I have them saved. Let's go back. I have them right here saved as John Smith, right? So that's how you would do that, okay? In the contact section, is there a category section or category option? I'm not quite sure what you mean by category option. Um, if you're referring to the tags, like if they're all getting tagged specifically, what you can do is go to those tags and let's just say, for example, uh, this one right here, this new lead call. So these are all the leads that are getting, for instance, Bakersfield, Lodi. Are you talking about categories as far as where they're located? Uh, there isn't a way to display them that way, but what you can do is you can do an advanced search, and inside the advanced search, come down and say, show me everyone that lives in Bakersfield. So I can type Bakersfield in their city and then hit search. And then when I search, it would auto-populate right here, and it'll just give me the list of anyone that has Bakersfield as their city. But that's how you would find those specific contacts. And if you guys are moving over from another CRM program, you can always import your old contacts. Okay, so what you can do is just bring them over and just throw them into call text, so you don't have to start from scratch. Okay, guys, again, I'm just going to leave it open for a few more minutes, and then if you have questions, just make sure to ask them. Go about importing these contacts. How would you go about importing these contacts? Importing is pretty easy. You just go to the contacts tab, you'd hit import. Now, it is important that you are importing a CSV file Most CRMs, when you download, will give it to you in that format. All CSV is just is a specific type of Excel extension. So whenever you go and you hit Save As, it'll allow you to save as XLSN, like different types of one, but the one you want to pick is CSV, because what we can do is upload from computer. If I go to downloads and I wanted to do, let's do, man, we'll do this one. And then what it can do is it'll pull that information and let me see the first 10 or the first whatever I want to put. And then I can tell it, okay, this is the, I tell it skip file header, right? So it won't pull in those header fields. And I can tell it, this is the first name, this is the last name, this is their default number, this is their default email. And what you would want to do is see how I have all this information as far as their property information and stuff like that. What you would want to do is before you import your contacts, you'd want to go in and set up all the different custom fields that you want inside of your system. So what I would do is I'd download my list, see what columns there are, and figure out what those column fields are. So for example, this would be the property field. I'd want to go in and I'd put, this is the property address, this is the property city, but right here for state, I wouldn't be able to import it because I haven't created the state field yet. Okay, but if you end up importing without that information, you just forgot or you messed up. Instead of having to go back and then manually update every single one, what you can do is just re-upload it, and the system, if it'll know if you have that contact in already based on the phone number. So just make sure that you just put the same one in there, and then go and create the custom field for the property state. And then when you upload it, instead of creating new contacts, it'll just update those contacts for you. Okay, but that's how you would import your contacts. Yeah, it'll do it on numbers and emails. You want to make sure they have one of the two because it won't do it for names, since obviously someone can have the same name as another contact. So there can be 3 or 4 different Georges. So if it's just doing it by the name, that wouldn't really work out. But yeah, it'll validate them based off of phone numbers and emails. What if the person has multiple properties? Marina, what I would do is when you go and you create those custom fields, so let me just go into, I'll go into this contact. The way I would personally set it up is, I don't know if they're gonna have more than one, or I'm sorry, more than 2 or more than 3, but you would know that for your business. What you can do is, since there's not a limit on fields, you can set up, let me see, edit this tab. So we can do it this way. We can name this one, we can name it property info, property 1, right? And then add a new group and name it, oops, property 2. Okay. And then I just move it up so that they're, together, and then just do it that way. And so that's how I would set it up and build out your custom fields that way. And then obviously they'd have the same one. So you would just do, I would do property address 1, property city 1, and then do the same thing for this one, property 2, and just save that. Oh. Okay, so now when I go to property info, it'll say I'll be able to look at all the different properties that they have. All right, guys. So if you have more questions, go ahead and ask them. If not, we can give it a few more minutes, and then we'll end today's call. Again, if after the call you come up with a question that you want to ask me, you can always just send a message, or I'll type it in right here. Just support@calltext.com, and you can ask your question that way. If you can't think of anything right now, you can always just ask after the call. Okay. So again, I'm going to give it a few more minutes, and then if no one has any other questions, we'll go ahead and just end the call. All right, guys. So it doesn't look like anyone has any more questions. I'm gonna go ahead and end the call. But again, I'm gonna share this video, share the link with you, so you can go back and watch. You can always email us at support@calltext.com. And every Wednesday at 10:30, we're gonna have this same live Q&A, so you can come on and just ask any question that you have. Okay, guys. But anyways, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye bye.